So next we have a presentation from 5E Advanced Materials with the ASX ticker code 5EA and the NASDAQ ticker code FEAM, a company enabling global decarbonization with Boron. To tell you more, I will hand you over to the CEO, Henri Tausch. Thanks for joining us again, Henri.
Hey Jane, how are you? So we are a public company. We listed at the NASDAQ in March this year. We were listed at the ASX, and we're still listed at the ASX under a different ticker, 5EA. And you can change the share from from the ASX to the NASDAQ and the other way around. We are building out a vertical integrated boron company focused on decarbonization. And we're focusing really on the high-end advanced materials. And we have a large resource in the US, in Southern California, of boron, and it also has lithium. Now, let me tell you a little bit about boron. I think a lot of you have not heard about boron. It's in the same family as lithium and rare earths. It is, a super material. It is very strong. It is light. It doesn't expand a lot with heat and cold. So you have many applications. And the key is that a lot of the boron advanced materials are needed for these future-facing applications. It sits in EVs, in solar panels. It sits in windmills, permanent magnets. It sits in semiconductors and a few other applications. So we're really excited about that, and we expect that with these future applications, demand will grow very, very fast. So a quick introduction. I have a few slides of our standard investment deck that you can find at our website. But I wanted to show this slide because, with the markets right now being in turmoil, it's going up and down. We are still, very strong. If you look at the fundamentals here, decarbonization, we are right in the middle of that. You need boron for all these applications. Critical materials. I'll explain in the next few slides that boron is very, very scarce, and having it in the US is extremely valuable and a strong value proposition. Boron is also a micronutrient, so it's critical for food security, and it's also very strong and light. So it sits in Kevlar vests and a lot of military equipment, and all these markets will spend a lot of money in the next decade. And this is really the slide that when I saw this slide, I joined the company. I joined the company in August last year. But this is incredible. So I told you that boron is very similar to what lithium is in rare earths. The same family, except it's a lot scarcer. In order to find a deposit of boron, you need a fault line, a volcano, and an evaporated water body. So it's kind of very difficult. And if you see where the supply comes from right now, 85% comes from two companies, Maden, which is a government-owned company in Turkey, and Rio Tinto in California. They're an hour away from us. And then what's happening, a lot of these materials, the first product is boric acid, that gets shipped to China, similar to actually lithium and a lot of the rare earths. And then a lot of the downstream materials is made in China. So here, as an example, 80% is of the boron carbide is made in China, and then it comes back in the States and it ends up in Kevlar vest and military equipment, right? So what's happening on the right, you can see that governments have taken action. Boron is a critical mineral in the EU. It is a critical material in the US. And our site, the Fort Katy site in South California, has been designated as critical by the US government, which allows us to get some additional funding, and it has a lot of other benefits. So here I combine supply on the right and demand. So as I explained, you see the total market here of boric acid equivalent on the left. And you can see that it is expected that the next 10 years, this demand will double. And that's mostly driven by these future-facing applications, EV, solar panels, etc. So this is why I'm saying it's almost similar to what lithium was 10 years ago. On the right, you see the supply, and this is really interesting because you see that two companies supply 85%, 60% comes out of Turkey. Turkey at this moment, high inflation, they need to import expensive energy, and the rest comes out of the US, and there's a few other projects. So supply cannot keep up. So there's a big gap coming, and as a result, prices will go up. And as a matter of fact, in the last 6 months or so, we've seen boric acid prices go up about 80% or so. So it is working, and there's simply not enough new projects to fill this gap. If you look at lithium, there's many projects, right? And boron, again, very scarce. You need a volcano, a fault line, evaporated water body. I'm aware of only 5 or 6 projects. I think I have the projects on the next slide. Yeah, here we go. So these are the other boron projects that are currently, that we are aware of. A couple of notes, you see our project there in Fort Cady. We are the largest. You can see that some of these projects are in very early stages, exploration stage. Some of these projects are in challenging countries, right? Serbia, 3 are in Serbia, and actually the Jadar project is currently on hold. And I would also say, we have a mineral which is called colmanite, which has been a proven mineral. So we are most likely the first project that will come online. But point is, even if all these projects will come online, it's still not enough to actually close that gap, right? So we expect that prices will continue to go up, similar to what happened in lithium. Now, this is what we're building, and at the bottom you see the advanced material structure, right? So we have the raw material in the ground, the mineral, and if I look at the extraction process that we do in situ extraction. So it's not open pit. We don't have to move a lot of dirt or have these big trucks. It's an environmentally light touch extraction method. And then we process. So we make, boric acid first, and then, we go down to the train here, and eventually we end up with carbide, nitrites, and a few other products there. And the key is you see those dollar signs. So each time you go more downstream, the product gets more expensive, and there's a much higher value in use. So you have a lot of pricing power. And I'll give an example here. So for instance, in your iPhone, in the glass is boron, right? That, Corning makes that Apple glass, but it's not the raw material. It's that higher end material that is higher priced. And there's probably only a few grams of boron in there. And so if you double prices, for instance, it really doesn't change the price of your iPhone, right? And there's several other examples. Now, talking about Corning, we just announced a week ago or so that we received an LOI from Corning. It's focused on 2 things. We're gonna, it is a supply agreement. That means that we're starting discussing with Corning how we're gonna do that. And the second thing is, technology. Corning is very interested in working with us to make new value add products and materials. And I'm really excited about Corning because it's not only a large user of boron, but they also buy lithium. So they understand what the market is doing when prices will go up, and what happens if they don't have any access to supply, right? So I think this is my last slide, Jane. So I want to add one more thing here. I want to give a quick update on where we are right now in our project. So we're currently building a small scale facility. We broke ground in April. We're going to spend $40–50 million on that. Mechanical completion should be finished by the end of the year. It should be operational first part of next year. We have actually completed a couple of wells already as well that will feed the plant. And that plant is obviously very, very important because it gives us product that obviously we can sell, but we also can actually use it as samples for takeoff agreements and R&D purposes. So if that plant is up and running, we continue and we're building a larger plant that should come online in 2025. We're targeting over 200 kilotons per annum. And then over time, we ramp that up to, we'll probably double that over time. And in parallel, we'll spend, time to build out these advanced materials. We do it all at the same site, so it gives us a massive cost benefit. It gives us an ESG benefit. We don't need to, move intermediate products around. And it gives us a lot of optionality on which products we can make at what price and who we sell to and which applications. So that's a quick summary. So I open it up for any questions, Jane.
Thanks for the great presentation. Look, we have had a few questions come through. Can you just give us a little bit more info about who Corning are and when we expect to formalize the agreement with them?
Yeah, very good. So Corning is one of the largest specialty glass manufacturers. And if you go actually to their website, they got fantastic videos. They can bend glass, and they think that with glass you can do a lot of stuff, right? So we start discussions now on the agreement, both takeoff and advanced materials. Yeah, you ask about timing. It is a negotiation, so I expect in the next few months.
Well, I think it's still a very impressive LOI that's come through, so congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Also, there's another question. Well, it's not really a question actually, but there have been several new research notes that have been published on 5E advanced materials. One in particular that I did see had a price tag of about $5, I think it was. So look, I would encourage investors to reach out via info@brokerbriefing.com if they are interested in seeing those research notes. But Henri, that's all we actually have time for today. So thank you for joining us. We look forward to hearing further updates.
Yeah, thank you, Jane. Great being here.